Welcome, everyone. My name is Jamie Peters, and I'm a registered nurse and certified respiratory educator. I've been working for Lung Saskatchewan for the past 18 years, and about the last 5 or 6, I've been managing this support meeting, which is actually a interstitial lung disease and pulmonary fibrosis meeting in partnership with the Sask Health Authority. And I work closely with Shane to manage this group. We decided that today's topic would be a great opportunity for people with other lung diseases like COPD and asthma who may be struggling with, managing their energy. And so we wanted to invite everyone and share in this opportunity. So just a little background. Lung Sask has been around for over 110 years, since 1911, and we've been at the forefront of improving lung health in Saskatchewan one breath at a time ever since. Before we begin, we just need to acknowledge the land we're on, and I'm here in Saskatoon hosting this on Treaty 6 territory, which is the ancestral and traditional territory of the Cree, Dene, Blackfoot, Saulteaux, Nakota Sioux, and the homeland of Métis. I encourage you to learn about the treaty that you're on and that you play on, that you work on, and acknowledge it as well. So we're so lucky today to have 2 amazing nursing students that have been working with us here at Lung Sask since January, and they actually practiced this presentation on Monday here in Saskatoon at the Pulmonary Rehab, and we're just really excited to give them the opportunity to practice their skills. And I can let you know that we have some really great nurses coming in the future, and we want to see that because we all need to be taken care of at some point. So I'm going to pass over the lead to them, and they're going to introduce themselves. Alrighty, Joyce and Jared, are you able to log on and get going?
Alrighty, hello everybody. Thanks for being here today. We're just going to share our screen here, and then we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves. There we go. Awesome. Thanks for the introduction, Jamie. My name's Jared.
And I'm Joyce.
And as she mentioned, we're nursing students here at Lung Sask for the semester, and we're excited to present to you guys today on energy conservation. And this really can be useful for any chronic disease, anyone's day-to-day life. So we hope that you find some tips and tricks in our presentation today. And feel free to let us know if you have any questions throughout. We want this to be a conversation, not just a big lecture. So we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves a bit more now. So you guys have probably heard of Lung Sask at this rate if you're at our support meeting, but we wanted to go over the mission, vision, and commitment of Lung Sask. So the mission is to improve lung health one breath at a time. The vision we have is healthy lungs for everyone, and our commitment is improving respiratory health and quality of life through education, advocacy, and evidence-based research. So I myself am a fourth-year nursing student, and I'm interested in working in either mental health or emergency services. I'm a brother and a son, and I've lived in Saskatchewan my whole life.
Okay. Thank you for coming and thank you for joining us. My name is Joyce. I'm also a fourth-year nursing student. I am a mother of 3 kids. I'm from Kenya and moved here in 2017, kind of getting used to the winter. And yeah, thank you, and hopefully you will enjoy our presentation.
So, and you guys have met Jamie. Our other instructor is Jill. She's also a certified respiratory educator and registered nurse at Lung Sask. All right, so we wanted to start today by just getting to know everybody. And we're going to have a poll popping up here once I figure out how to do that with some of these questions we have on the screen. So we'll give you guys lots of time. I'm just going to start it here. So just questions to get to know one another, make this a bit more interactive. There should be a poll popping up on your screen now about getting to know you. Are you okay to see that? Just be some yes and no questions, and you can feel free to answer that at your own speed. Perfect. We see some answers coming in. So our first question is it your first time attending a support meeting with Lung Sask? And then we have, are you excited to be here today? As well as if we're feeling anxious about coming on to the meeting today, and if you've been taught about energy conservation in the past, and then just a one-word descriptor of how we're feeling right now. So give you guys a couple more minutes and we'll go through those answers. Perfect. We're seeing lots of answers coming in. You guys are quick. 22 answers already. Alrighty, it looks like it's slowed down, so we're going to go ahead and end that and share the results with you guys. All right, you guys should be able to see the results from everything. So for our first question about first time attending a meeting for support with Lung Sask, I know Joyce and I sure would have answered yes to that. This is our first experience, so it's pretty exciting. We've got 50-50 nearly. So some people have been before, others haven't. So welcome to everyone who's new. Um, with that comes some excitement. Everyone's excited. Love to see it. Yeah,
Yes,
so are we.
excited too.
Aw. And feelings of anxiety about being here today, not too many, but I know we certainly have a bit. Yeah. Just with presenting always comes a bit of nerves, but that excitement kind of outweighs it for us today. And okay, so some people have learned about energy conservation, some people haven't, and some people aren't sure, but this will be a good starting place or a place to pick up from for anybody. We'll go through all the basics and nice and slowly. Perfect. And then the one word descriptor, I'm not able to see the words we typed, but that is okay. That's okay. We'll just keep going, but we hope everyone's
I
feeling
think
great.
if,
From what we saw, everyone's pretty excited.
Jared, if you click on the view details, you should be able to see them. I can read them out here on my end. Let's
That'd
see.
be great, Jamie.
Yeah. We've got curious, not too bad, short of breath, tired, pretty good, very good, excited, exhausted with exclamation marks, pretty good, great, excited to learn, excellent, tired, lots of everyone's tired. Maybe it's the afternoon and we used a lot of energy this morning, maybe. Good, excited, have had more shortness of breath lately, and awesome.
Okay, thanks, Jamie. So yeah, we got a bit of a mix there, but the ones who are tired and maybe a little exhausted right now, maybe this presentation will be super helpful for you then. We'll talk about tips and tricks for throughout your day. We'll go into all sorts of details. So with that, we'll get started into what we're talking about today, energy conservation.
Okay, so it's nice to hear that some people are tired, not because it's nice to be tired, but it just means you're in the right place. So today we are going to be talking about conserving your energy. So hopefully after this presentation, some of us can be a little bit less tired at this time of the day. Okay, so energy conservation is just simplifying and planning your activities and tasks so that you use less energy. So this makes you have more energy to use throughout the day. And as we all saw in the poll, some people are fatigued, some people are short of breath, and this comes with chronic lung diseases. So energy conservation is helpful to be able to support and give you the energy to use throughout the day, overcome the shortness of breath, and reduce fatigue.
So now that we know what energy conservation is, we wanted to talk about another term, activities of daily living, or ADLs. And simply put, those are the tasks that everyone performs each day to take care of themselves regularly. So you're doing it every day to take care of yourself. It looks a bit different for everybody, but some things include bathing, dressing, housekeeping, walking and climbing stairs, shopping, and cooking. And we know that each of these use different amounts of energy, so it's essential to conserve our energy and be able to accomplish them all. So we're going to go through each of those and more specifically, and there's some different strategies for each shortly.
Okay, so we're going to learn about the 5 P's of energy conservation. You don't have to cram them all. We'll go through each one of them at a time. So the P's are pace yourself, plan ahead, position yourself, prioritize activities, and use of parsley breathing. All these, we'll go through them in a short while.
Yeah, so just a little memory check for everybody. Getting into our first P of pace yourself. So it's important to pace yourself to avoid running out of energy due to rushing and not resting. So we really want to encourage everyone to take breaks and rest throughout the day. We want to avoid rushing. As the saying always goes, slow and steady wins the race. And this really holds true for chronic lung disease because we know it's important to rest before we become tired because if we rest after we're already exhausted, it takes a lot longer to recover. So taking those breaks, even if we feel like we still got some energy, it's okay to take a break, catch our breath, and then continue our task. So pace ourselves throughout the day, take lots of breaks and rests as needed.
Okay. The next P is planning ahead. So a good plan allows everyone to feel more in control of their energy, and they'll be able to achieve all planned activities. So you can plan your weekly tasks by just spreading them, the most tiring one throughout the day. Throughout, say, the week. For example, don't do all the tiring tasks on Monday. You can spread them. Monday, I'll do this. Tuesday, I'll do this. This will save you some energy. So just spacing your activities and making sure that in between your plan, you're also planning a break. Take your breaks.
And one strategy for this that you can see on the side, there's a little planner. Some people like to just write out their weekly tasks, maybe those big overwhelming ones that take more energy, like raking the leaves, for example, or doing laundry. You can just choose to put those on separate days rather than all on the same day. And then you got it written down, you've got a plan for your week. So a good plan certainly helps us feel more in control. Here's a big one. So position yourself. So certain positions allow for more effective breathing and some cause more fatigue and use more energy than others. So simply put, some make it easier to breathe and more effective for breathing. And so when you're sitting or standing, we want to position ourselves upright. So I know everyone always sits back at this point in the presentation, and I'll do the same thing. We all catch ourselves hunching. I certainly do. Bad habit of mine. And we want to be aware that bending and reaching can cause shortness of breath as well. And we want to change positions often. So a little group practice activity, whether you do or don't have your camera on, that's okay. While we're sitting down, we're just going to practice sitting with our back against the back of the chair or the couch that we're on, making sure we're doing that. Our feet are planted nice on the floor with maybe at a 90-degree angle. So you can see that in the photo on the bottom right there. And then if we had more space, I would stand up and show you the standing one as well. Just a couple things to note. We don't want to be hunching way forward or bending over, but we also don't want to be bending way back with our hips swayed out front. We just want to focus on our shoulders, our hips, our knees, and our feet all in one straight line. We know that by being more in a straight line and more vertical when we're sitting or standing helps those lungs open and close easier, and therefore we breathe a little bit easier too. So yeah, just really focusing on throughout the day, changing positions, and when we're in positions, being mindful about our posture, maybe our positioning with our feet, and just not rounding too far forward or bending too far backward. Let those lungs easily open and close to breathe.
So the next one is prioritizing our tasks. So it's helpful to plan your tasks that are most important to complete. Make sure that you finish them first. And then if you have more energy, you can do the others. If you don't have energy, you can save them for later. So this will be helpful through organizing activities from most to least important. That's why we have the weighing scale there. You can see which one is important will go first. The one that is not very important can come later. So this will save you energy, and it will help you accomplish what you need to accomplish throughout your day.
I know a great example Joyce used on Monday when we were at pulmonary rehab for this was if you have a doctor's appointment one day, but you also need to do the laundry. Sometimes we need to weigh what's more important, and we know getting to our doctor appointment is super important, and maybe it uses more energy. So maybe we'll focus on doing that first, planning our energy for that appointment. Then if we still have energy later in the day to do that laundry, that's great. If not, that can come tomorrow. So yeah, prioritizing what's most important in your day. And here's a big one. So pursed lip breathing. Some of you have probably heard about this in the past, others maybe not, and that's okay. We're going to go through a big demonstration and a group practice later on. So breathing exercises are useful tools in improving the effectiveness and reducing effort involved in breathing. So we can breathe easier and better through these exercises. So this helps slow down our breathing and reduce air trapping. So air trapping is when you struggle to empty air from your lungs. So through these exercises, we can reduce that. And through daily practice, this can become natural, and we'll just start using it when we're more short of breath, or just when we feel like we should. It'll just start happening naturally without even thinking about it. And yeah, as we mentioned, later on in the presentation, we'll do a group demonstration and practice.
Okay, now we're going to talk about tips for managing activities. And these are the activities of daily living that Jared spoke about. That means your laundry, your cooking, your bathing, everything that we do throughout the day. So first, when you wake up in the morning, it's helpful to pace yourself so that you save yourself some energy. You rest and slow down as you complete your tasks. For example, you're done doing your dishes. Don't rush like me. I'm always in a hurry. Done your dishes, take a break, then you can do something else. And then some people have symptoms in the morning when they're waking up. So it's helpful that you talk to your doctor when you take your medications, and it's good to take them at the same time every day. And then some people find it very helpful to bathe or shower in the evening. This gives you less activities to do in the morning, or even laying out clothes in the evening so that you have one less task to do in the morning. I find myself doing that. I'll take so much time to think of what I'm going to wear in the morning. So saves me some energy and some time too. And I believe this will be a helpful tip for other people as well.
Absolutely. So now that we've woke up, let's get dressed, maybe have a bath and get ready for the day. So assistive devices, so things like handheld shower heads, shower chair, and grab bars may be helpful. With this, we know a handheld shower head, maybe we're not reaching so high to do things. We can just push the water as we need it, because we know reaching and bending can use lots of energy, as we mentioned. A shower chair and grab bars are also great tools just to take a rest as we get more maybe short of breath or tired doing these more strenuous or tiring activities. We want to reduce excess humidity and steam. So for many people with chronic lung disease, not everybody, but steam or hot air can be a trigger for our lungs and make it harder to breathe. So when we're having a shower or a bath, maybe we decide to crack open the door or use a fan if you have one, just to reduce the temperature, and maybe it's not such a trigger for our lungs. Another one that doesn't always apply to everybody, but for some people, scented products can trigger shortness of breath. So instead, using scent-free products for yourself and your loved ones with chronic lung disease can be helpful. And this is a big one that we'll see a lot throughout our presentation, is sitting down when we're able. Now, this doesn't mean we're always sitting down and we're not promoting being active, but when we have the chance to take a rest and rest before we're tired, we can do that. So things like getting our hair done for the day, maybe our makeup or shaving, whatever those tasks are where you think you can have a seat to do it, definitely take advantage of that time. Another one is wearing shirts with buttons or zippers to avoid pulling them over our heads. So again, we mentioned that reaching and bending can be tiring. So instead, when we just have an easy thing to throw on and we can button it up, then that'll use a little less energy. Now, this is a tip that Jamie gave us from one of her former clients, and that is to use a terry towel roll to dry off after bathing. So this is essentially like a microfiber material house coat or traditional robe, and you just throw that off after you get out of the shower or the bath, and it can do a lot of the drying for you. You're not bending and reaching so much to do that. It's a little less tiring.
Okay, let's talk about walking and climbing the stairs. It's helpful that you breathe out as you take a step. And it's also good to pace yourself. Don't be in a hurry. Take your time. Also, the use of pursed lip breathing if you feel short of breath. I know some people in the poll say they're short of breath, and we are going to practice this in a short while. And it's also helpful if you can place all your commonly used items on the main level of your home to avoid excess trips to the stairs. I find myself having my jar of milk in the fridge downstairs, and sometimes I'm like, oh my, do I even need to go and get it? Or, just contemplating whether I need to get that milk or just save my energy. So I think this will be helpful for everybody to save their energy.
Absolutely. All right. Now, my favorite topic, eating. So we want to eat small, frequent meals instead of larger ones so you aren't too full. Now, you guys are probably sitting there thinking, who is this Jared student telling me to change the way I've done things my whole life? I like my 3 big meals, but there is a method to my madness and why I say this. So being too full can push on your diaphragm, which is a muscle that helps with our breathing. So if our stomach is really full, it pushes on that diaphragm and it makes it harder for our lungs to inflate and so to get bigger and then get smaller so we can breathe a little easier. So we want to instead have small, frequent meals or snacks throughout the day. So we're still getting our nutrients in, we're still feeling energized by that food, but it's not so much that we're feeling weighed down, heavy, and pushing on our diaphragm. Now, on the opposite end of this, for some people with chronic lung disease, we may know that it's tiring to eat and it's actually quite a task and it takes lots of energy. So in that case, maybe try some smaller, higher calorie, but still healthy foods. So things like smoothies can be helpful and easier to consume for some people, or adding cheese or peanut butter to snacks for some extra protein and some extra calories for energy.
Okay, we talk about medication management. As you can see on your screen, we have somebody who has a pouch there where they have arranged their medications. That is very helpful. And it's also helpful to keep your record of your daily medications and also to take them at the same time every day. Also, it's good to store your medication in an easily accessible place. For example, no need to put them downstairs because you're going to be spending your energy going back and forth, up and down the stairs to get your medication. So this is also a tip to conserving your energy.
All right, and back to food for me again, conveniently. So meal preparation. Again, here's that common theme of sitting down when we're able. So if you're chopping up some vegetables or whatever it may be, or maybe you're stirring a pot, whatever it might be, and you think you can sit for a few minutes, take the time to just rest and do those activities seated. Another thing is to use the tools you've got. So a slow cooker or a crock pot, those can help to take a lot of the work off of you. Or maybe we're using one pan at a time. I know for myself, if I've got 3 pans on the go and I'm also chopping, I'm running around the kitchen. This might speak more to my skills in the kitchen, but I get a little overwhelmed. I get a little tired as well. So if we can maybe prep a little bit more earlier, so we're doing less things at once, that can help. Keeping frequently used items in easily accessible locations, another common theme. So instead of putting all of our favorite pots and pans in a really high up shelf or one by the ground, keep it more at surface level so we aren't again bending and reaching, as that can make you feel short of breath. And rest before cleaning up after meals. I know some people struggle with this. I'm thinking of my family members. Just let them soak if they need to. You can take 30 minutes, whatever you might need, watch your favorite episode of your show, or sit and visit with your loved ones and just rest, catch your energy, get your breath, and get to those dishes maybe later that evening or maybe even the next morning, whatever works for you. And if you've got the tools again, use them. So like a dishwasher, or if you can stand the spots on your dishes, let them air dry when you're able.
So we'll talk about the housekeeping chores. So it's like, as you can see on the corner there, we have it. It's helpful to plan a schedule for the week and make sure in your plan you also include time to rest. And then plan for cleaning when you have the most energy. Some people are energetic in the morning, some people are energetic in the afternoon. So it doesn't matter, whenever you feel you're most energetic, that's the time maybe you can plan cleaning because it consumes a lot of energy. And use of reaching aid, just like Jared spoke about, would be helpful to save your energy as well. And also don't forget to get some rest. Sit as you complete your task. For example, when you're doing your laundry, you can just have a seat and fold them without being stressed about it. And also if you have a wheeled cart to move your items around the house, that would also save you some energy.
Okay. So some other people's favorite activity, most likely, shopping. So always, and we have this in all capitals for a reason, always bring your reliever or rescue medications and enough oxygen for your trip. So if prescribed by your doctor, you want to bring those medications because we never want to be in a crisis or a situation where we're having maybe a flare up or just feeling really short of breath and we don't have the right tools there to help us out. So maybe you have a checklist before you leave the house of the 3 things you always bring. Maybe it's your oxygen, maybe it's your assistive device, and maybe it's your rescue medication. We want to make sure we always have our tools with us. And with that mobility device, make sure we're always using what's recommended for you. And if you don't have one, you can also use a tool that some people have talked about, which is a shopping cart to position yourself and lean against when you need for rest. So you can kind of lean on the shopping cart as needed and just take a quick rest in the store and use that as a tool for saving energy as well. Another strategy that I certainly like to use is visiting stores during the least busy hours. So maybe you guys decide to visit stores when all the kids are in school and it's not so hectic. This kind of reduces the waiting times and that sense of being rushed, which can also waste our energy if we're rushing. And another thing, if we're not feeling up to leaving the house and we need some groceries, there is grocery delivery companies available. So we've hinted at this lots. Pursed lip breathing, the time has finally come for a little teaching and it's a demonstration. So pursed lip breathing is that technique we talked about that reduces the airflow limitation and that gas trapping, which causes shortness of breath and is associated with a lot of chronic lung diseases. So there's 3 simple steps. So first, you inhale through your nose slowly. And I'm going to say these steps, then Joyce will show us, and then we'll do it all together. So we're going to hear these lots. So we're inhaling or breathing in through our nose. We're pursing our lips as if we're blowing out a candle or whistling. So it kind of looks like so. Just like we're blowing out a candle or whistling, you can see Jamie also showing you. And then we're exhaling slowly through our mouth. So breathing out with those pursed lips. So 3 steps. And a little tip here is we want to exhale for twice as long as you inhaled. So breathe out for twice the amount of time that you breathed in. So one numbers that we use, it's whatever works for you, but we usually breathe in for 2 seconds and then we breathe out for 4. So I'll show a picture to guide us through this, and we'll get Joyce to demonstrate as I say the steps one more time. So first, Joyce is going to inhale slowly through her nose for about 2 seconds. She's going to purse her lips as if she would whistle, and she's going to exhale through those pursed lips for twice as long as she inhaled. Perfect. We'll get Joyce to show one more time without my talking. Good. So a few things to note about what Joyce just did that you may not have been able to see, but she had really good body positioning that we talked about earlier. She's sitting up nice and straight. She's got her shoulders in line with her hips as she's seated. Her feet are planted on the ground. Her lungs are able to easily open and close and or expand and deflate. And yeah, she was inhaling slowly through her nose and she was exhaling through those pursed lips for twice as long. So now you guys don't need to have your cameras on necessarily, but I encourage everybody in the comfort of your own home to go ahead and try this with us. So we're going to do it a couple times. Go for as long as you'd like. We're going to inhale slowly through our nose, purse our lips as if we're whistling, and we breathe out for twice as long. You guys can repeat that as many times as you'd like. Do you guys have any questions at this point with this demonstration? If anyone does, feel free to ask.
There's a question
Yeah.
in the chat there.
Okay, let's see if I can see the chat. Oh, there we are. How long do you hold your breath? So we're not necessarily holding our breath. That's a good point. I think Joyce might have looked like she was holding her breath because I was talking so much and she was trying to stay on pace with me. So we're breathing in and out comfortably like we always do. We're not holding our breath at all. So we're going to breathe in for 2 seconds. And as soon as we do that breathing in, we can breathe out. Now, it's essential that we breathe out for twice as long because that helps with that air trapping component we spoke about. Helps to get that air trapped in our lungs out. So yeah, we're not going to hold our breath at the top. We're just going to breathe in for 2 seconds, and just as soon, we're going to breathe out for 4. That was a great question. Thank you.
Does it work laying down?
I think it could work laying down, but we do always encourage, if we're short of breath, especially because this is a strategy commonly used when we're short of breath, that we sit up in that comfortable position where our lungs can easily expand and deflate, and gravity is not pushing down on them as much. So,
Okay, thanks.
awesome, thanks. There's a couple other in the chat, it looks like. Will work while exercising, somebody asked. So great point. It can definitely help whenever you're short of breath. So I know I sometimes catch myself doing it even when exercising, and I don't necessarily have chronic lung disease, but that's okay. I will just purse my lips and try and force out some extra trapped air sometimes when I exercise. And when should people reach out to their doctor to seek testing for oxygen, especially when they're very short of breath? Often. So I'm not sure on the exact recommendations. I don't know if Jamie or Jill want to speak to it.
I can talk to that quickly. So if your doctor does a regular assessment on you, they'll check your oxygen levels at that point. And they'll ask you hopefully the right questions to see if you're having, say, symptoms. So shortness of breath doesn't necessarily mean that you need oxygen, especially when you have COPD. But them doing an assessment using that oximeter on your finger will help them decide if they want to send you on for testing, as well as if you have a little oximeter at home that you check on your finger and you tell them the values, the doctor will send you on at that point as well. So it's part of their assessment. We'll talk about this later, but next month we're going to have a whole session on oxygen, so we can talk about that a little bit further then. There's a couple other questions. I think we just missed one at the top, and one is about why pursed lips help with breathing and if it'll work during exercise. So I can just say, it kind of works like a backflow valve. So it's trying to help you release that trapped air, and just the way the pressure works, it can help you release it longer and get it out further. So I hope that explains it well. And Jared, if you want, or Joyce, if you want to talk about doing it during exercise, that would be great.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely you can use past lip breathing when you're doing exercise. It's not necessarily even for people with chronic lung diseases. Sometimes we find ourselves doing it. If you feel short of breath, take a break, do past lip breathing, and then if you're able to continue with your exercises, you can continue with your exercises. Yeah.
There's certainly not a right and wrong time necessarily to use pursed lip breathing. You can do it even when you're not feeling short of breath. If you just feel like, I don't feel like I'm breathing super easy, or maybe it's not feeling so effective, maybe I've got some air trapped. It isn't going to hurt you if you just go ahead and try pursed lip breathing. And then as well, we always recommend when you are short of breath, maybe that's when you're exercising, go ahead and use that resource as well. Perfect. All right. So yeah, the 3 simple steps to remember, we're inhaling slowly through our nose, pursing those lips, and then breathing out through those pursed lips for twice as long as we inhaled. Ready. So,
Okay, now that we had our presentation, does any one of you have a strategy that works for them to save or to conserve energy that they would like to share with the rest of the group that is attending?
so if so, we're going to have a poll come up again, and we'll just have people go ahead and type those answers. So we'll give you guys a few minutes here just to go ahead and type if there's any strategies that they have that we didn't mention today that they find work for them. I know the terry towel robe, that was one from somebody else, so they don't have to necessarily be super fancy, but whatever works for you. Got a couple answers coming in.
If it's easier for you as well, you could type this into the chat feature as well.
For sure. Alrighty, we've got a few answers in the chat. I think we can probably go ahead and end it. Hey, Jamie? Yeah, we'll see what those. Oh, 5. Look at that. It jumped right up. So we'll end the poll. And again, if I can't see them, I might get Jamie to read them for me. Yeah, if you don't mind, Jamie, I can't see them again.
No problem. So some of the answers are here. Certain types of yoga can help you relax, which can help with breathing. Operate at the level of your current abilities. So I think that's sort of what you kind of all talked about today. Not really, I just push myself to do it and get it done. Pursed lip breathing works for me, and someone says they don't have any yet. And another comment was using your belly breathing or your diaphragmatic breathing, which can help improve your shortness of breath as well.
Awesome.
And that's
Some
all.
good points there.
Yeah, certainly just different relaxation techniques is another one we didn't really touch on, but things like yoga are great. Sometimes it can calm us down, and with that can slow down our breathing and let us breathe more effectively. So that's a great strategy. Whoever shared that, thank you. Belly breathing and other breathing that we didn't go over today, if that works for you, that's another really great strategy. So
What's
thank
belly
you
breathing?
guys.
What is belly breathing?
So belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing you might have heard of. It's a different breathing technique than the one we shared today, but it's mostly focusing on using our stomach to breathe and just focusing on kind of, I don't know if Jamie wants to go further into detail, but using our belly opposed to using our chest to breathe and kind of forcing the air there.